Mike Sharon. So what are we driving? The question hangs in the air like a dare, a challenge wrapped in velvet. He leans back, half smile, eyes tracking the shape of my reaction. If you can guess, I'll give you the keys to it. Ooh, Chevy Chevelle, racing green. Right color, that is a beautiful car. The words roll off my tongue the way a practiced gambler counts cards. Casual, confident, designed to unsettle. He laughs, a sound that says he likes me already, or at least enjoys pretending to. I need to be in your line of work. I'm real good at reading people, and what if you read about me? He tilts his head, testing me like a jeweler weighs a stone. You look like a person who has secrets. You got the cars, the clothes. There's a way he says it that sounds like flattery and accusation braided together. You can't seem to look me in the eye. Start by handing me your phone. His hand is steady when he reaches for it. His fingers are practiced at taking what they want with minimal force. You're looking at robberies of jewels, money, or high-value items in the last 4 years. The screen lights up with a map, pins clustered like constellations of crime. Music swells, a low cinematic pulse. Now remove every robbery where there was DNA left at the scene. His voice is calm, clinical, as if he's running a search filter through a database instead of a life. I think all of these are the same guy, and he hits every time along the 101 freeway. The map narrows, the pins forming a trajectory that is almost too neat to be coincidence. He points to a line on the screen, and his finger trembles just enough to make the admission human. I came here to make you a business proposition. It's simple, he says, but there's a gravity to how he says it, like a loaded coin dropped into the palm of your hand. You've worked at the same company for 11 years. You're a VP when it should be a partner. The truth lands like a slap. He knows the hum of your daily compromises, the little betrayals wrapped as convenience. Those high-value items your company insures, might occasionally make them disappear and no one gets hurt. The delivery is matter-of-fact, almost tender. I wouldn't die from an insurance company. He smiles then, and the smile is the kind that has learned to love its own sharp edges. Get in. He opens the car door like an invitation to a private ocean. There's wire in the trunk. There's a courier carrying watches and gems. The new buyer is paying cash. The scent of adrenaline and gasoline is intoxicating. Looking at 11 million in one room, 3 of which I'll be taking. Numbers are dropped like facts in a courtroom. He speaks of sums as if they are words rather than lives. Doesn't matter how much money you make, it's never enough. I'll know when I have enough. How? He's planning something new. Father, my dad always says you gotta break 2 eggs. You tell him I see you again in the boat, yeah? The family stories are currency, passed down like heirlooms that double as lessons in audacity. As smart as that guy is, he can't help but form a pattern. I'm getting close. The confession is almost reluctant. There's pride in the hunt and pain in the confession. Something that doesn't feel right. Music dips, then rises. Nice car. The cars? Yeah, I prefer the old American ones. I used to dream of having a Mustang when I was a kid. Like Steve McQueen. You ever see that Thomas Crown affair? There's a high-class thief in it. And there it is. The pivot from flippant bravado to a kind of urgent honesty that lands like a brick. He knows about the small betrayals that become avalanches, the missed birthdays, the bank accounts unopened, the dreams that were always someday. He knows how those somedays pile up until they crush you. We drive out of the city the way actors exit a stage, deliberate, knowing. The Chevy Chevelle hums like a secret, the engine a low purr that vibrates into your bones. He talks about the courier as if describing an animal he has been tracking for months. Predictable rhythms, favored routes, the human habits that turn plans brittle. There is a reverence to his voice when he speaks of the haul, an almost filial respect for the ledger of things that glitter. 11 million is currency in theater both. It buys loyalty, fear, and an exit plan. He speaks of patterns, the way a thief chooses his prey not by randomness but by trust. The same routes, the same security gaps, the same night shift with a tired guard who's learned to blink slower. Remove the ones with DNA, and what remains is a ghost. Precise, invisible, a human acting like a shadow. That ghost follows the 101 freeway like a vein carries blood. He's mapped it out until the highways read like home addresses. Every stop, every pickup, every fall of night has been cataloged and rehearsed. You begin to hear the logic in his voice. He's not proud of what he does. He's proud of how clean he keeps it. No DNA, no fingerprints. A philosophy of erasure. He describes wire in the trunk as if listing the ingredients in a recipe. He talks about couriers like they are characters in a play, unaware of their roles until the curtain falls. This is not the random act of a desperate man, this is artful, almost surgical. He is not destroying lives, he insists, merely rerouting possessions into other hands. His hands, he clarifies. I used to dream of a Mustang, he repeats, nostalgia and menace braided together. Steve McQueen flickers through his eyes like an idealized past. The Thomas Crown affair, the film, the archetype, breathes through him. He wants elegance in motion. He wants the heist to look pretty, behave politely, leave behind only an afterimage. He admires the choreography of theft, entrances like a dance, exits that hum with grace. He is a romantic in the strangest of senses, believing in a purity to the taking. We talk about consequences the way sailors talk about storms. He dismisses the insurance companies with a shrug. Their ledgers are large and hungry and, in his estimation, easily gamed. But he believes in limits nonetheless. Never get greedy, never burn a bridge that leads to an exit. That's why he pauses when he says 3 of 11. He weighs the number like a promise. It's not about the money, he says again, as if trying to convince the part of him that grew up dreaming of a Mustang. It's about the score, the story, the proof that he can still call the shots. He knows time is a thief too. There's a soft urgency in his voice when he mentions fathers and boats and the passing seasons. You watch him oscillate between predator and philosopher. He confesses that the pattern is what will undo him if he lets it. Patterns are the breadcrumbs that police will follow. He admits, almost tenderly, that he's been sloppy sometimes, that arrogance has left fingerprints in corners where he shouldn't have left them. That honesty makes him human in a way that chills you. He is not a monster, he is a man weighed down by his own genius. And then the proposition. You could be what he needs. The inside, the one who knows the ledgers and the rest of the company's code. 11 years at the same place gives you more than tenure. It gives you knowledge that can be weaponized. He offers partnership in the only meaningful sense possible. Partnership in crime. The language is businesslike. He talks about equity and splits like a broker counts shares, and somehow the absurdity is beautiful. He knows your salary, your frustrations, the small humiliations of corporate life. He paints escape as an upgrade, a way to buy the life you've always imagined without waiting for permission. But there are stakes. He doesn't romanticize consequences the way movies do. There is a moral gravity he refuses to ignore. He admits that sometimes things go wrong. Alarms, a courier late, a guard homesick. He speaks of those nights with a clinical sadness, the way someone might speak of failed surgical procedures. No one gets hurt, he repeats, because he believes it's an ethical line. Violence is the covenant he refuses to make. Theft in his mind is a craft, not cruelty. As we talk, the road unspools beneath us like a ribbon. The Chevy Cheval glows under highway lights, the leather seat is a throne, and the trunk a promise. He imagines the courier walking into a room full of watches and gems with the casual dignity of a man who thinks the world owes him. He sketches the scene with words, doors, lights, a room humming with the petty rituals of wealth. He sees himself as both artist and critic, taking from the gallery of the rich, to create his own private museum. You imagine your life split into a before and after. The before, 11 years, the complacent corporate climb, is a quiet corridor with fluorescent lights and polite emails. The after is a boat with your name on it or a Mustang parked in a garage you can call your own. He believes, perhaps genuinely, that breaking 2 eggs is necessary to make an omelet. You can almost hear your father's voice in the background, a chorus of justifications that have always been the soundtrack when someone crosses a line. But it's not only the money, he offers purpose. A narrative in which you are not a cog, but a protagonist. He offers clarity where there was fog, and with clarity comes a kind of dangerous peace. For the first time in years, you can imagine risk less as a threat and more as an avenue to become the person the younger you promised you would be. It's intoxicating. The Thomas Crown affair isn't just a reference anymore. It's a model, a philosophy of theft transmuted into a way of life. When he finishes, there's a silence heavy enough to be felt. The music falls away to a single, low note. The air in the car thick with decisions. He looks at you not like a mark or a commodity, but as a potential co-author to a story that will rewrite both your lives. Whether you take the keys to the Chevy Chevelle or leave them on the seat will decide the kind of plot you will live in. Neat, papered in and safe, or dangerous, bright, alive. This conversation is not an invitation, it is a turning point. You have been offered a map out of a life you did not ask for but somehow ended up inhabiting. You are asked, who will you be when the pattern breaks? Will you stay in the glow of fluorescent lights where everything is accounted for? Or will you step into the shadow, where risk is currency and stories are made? As the highway stretches on, the 101 freeway a ribbon of possibility, you realize that the most dangerous theft is not the taking of jewels. It is the stealing of a future you were always meant to claim.